Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Modern, but it's one of my favorite Legacy decks, ported into a Modern shell by Patreon subscriber CheeseDog. This is Algae Pox. Algae Pox is a resource denial prison control deck that's built around the card Smallpox. 2 mana, each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, and sacrifices a land. That's a lot of resources disappearing for just 2 mana. And kind of the whole point of this deck is to break parity, where you care about these things less than your opponent does. And that's done with things like Bloodghast, a creature that comes back over and over again. You don't mind discarding it or sacrificing it. Life from the Loam and Witherbloom Command can get cards, particularly lands, back from your graveyard. And those lands sometimes do other stuff, like Takenuma, which can take the scenic route to get a creature back from the graveyard. Beseiju, Disenchant / Stone Rain, Baron Moor, cycles. Our lands do stuff. Nurturing Peatland can draw a card from play. We've got Thoughtseize and Liliana of the Veil to squeeze the opponent's hand resources, which makes the discard from Smallpox hurt more because they have fewer options to discard. And the big final squeeze is Spreading Algae. Enchant Swamp. When enchanted land becomes tapped, destroy it. When Algae is put in a graveyard from the battlefield, return it to its owner's hand. The goal here is to make all lands into swamps, and then put Algae on each land your opponent controls one at a time. They get to tap it once, it dies, and then you Algae the next land, and eventually they just can't play Magic anymore. Then we win with whatever's left. An Urza Saga, a Bloodghast, Chris tokens. It doesn't take much when your opponent can't cast their spells. And although this deck still gets Life from the Loam, still gets Smallpox, still gets Spreading Algae, Urborg, still gets Liliana out of the Legacy build, Modern does not have Dark Ritual to get your Liliana out faster, doesn't have Mox Diamond, which is one of the best, most stable mana sources you can play in a Life from the Loam deck that's trying to destroy everyone's lands. You don't get Wasteland, which is tailor-made basically for these strategies with Life from the Loam. We do have to work a little harder, but also the format isn't quite as powerful. I actually played Black-White Pox in a couple Star City opens many years ago. If you Google my name and Star City results or whatever, you'll find a Black-White Pox deck that I played in at least one event. I think I played 2 with it. I did genuinely think that deck was a solid choice at the time. I could have played anything and I chose that. I have not tried green-black Algae Pox in Modern, certainly not in the present era of Modern. And I'm excited to see how this goes. I have not made any card selections for this deck. Like some of these spell bombs, what's coming out of the Urza Saga. I'm not sure this is the package I would have come up with. I would probably have thought I'd want a Ghost Quarter in the deck somewhere. But I'm going to trust CheeseDog right now. I know they've been putting a lot more work into this than I have, and I'm going to go with these choices and just try to make them work. I understand the plan. I understand where we're going. I understand Modern's a different format than Legacy, and let's see if those understandings convert into wins. Let's do it. This is CheeseDog's Modern Algae Pox. I'm on the play in round 1. 2 lands that don't cast my Bloodghast. A 3rd land does get Saga going. I am going to keep this. I'm not sure what my mulligan range is supposed to look like just yet. There's no Dark Ritual or Mox Diamond I'm looking for. I'm just going to try to develop my mana and play an Urza Saga game plan. I can kill multiple creatures here on the way through if I find a Pox or a discard outlet of any kind. I have 2 things I'm pretty happy to discard. I know Vengeful Pharaoh was broken on Magic Online for many years. I heard it was fixed, but I haven't actually played with it yet. I hope it's true. Opponent's dropping a Ragavan in here. I will Fatal Push that immediately. That's out of here. If I didn't have another removal spell lined up, I probably would have waited until their turn, maybe in combat. Cool. Now the Urza Saga works. Just to play around a dashed Ragavan. But I have a second removal spell, so I hope they do dash a Ragavan, quite frankly. Ooh, opponent on the Hope Ragavan Works plan. But it didn't. Oh my goodness. This is actually really fascinating. Because this is a spot where Smallpox could just end the game, but letting Urza Saga run its course will probably also end the game. I'm going to do Saga stuff, and then the Smallpox will be waiting on the back end. Fire Islet, bummer. I'm glad I didn't go for the Smallpox now, though, if they had their land drop and continue playing the game anyway. Construct token, Grist, Construct token. Just going to let this run the whole way through. I'm probably getting Nile Spellbomb also. Unholy Heat. Nile Spellbomb, draw Skull Bomb. This returns a creature to your hand and draws a card only as a sorcery. Yeah, it's Nile Spellbomb. Missed my land drop, disappointing. But we'll figure it out. They can't Murktide from what they're showing me. I'm not going to Spellbomb yet. I hope to get a card off it someday. Okay, this Saga was already good for 2 cards here. They currently have 6 mana for Murktide. I actually don't care if they do Murktide me. Kind of hope they do. That just gives me my Edict right away. Yeah, this bauble represents Murktide, but I'm not worried about it. Or way better than Edict, I get the Smallpox if they play Murktide here. Kind of hope they slam it. Hell yeah. I don't think these decks usually main deck Force of Negation, if they play it at all. A land is my best draw, because I can discard Bloodghast, get it back right away, and I continue moving forward. You know I'm going to slam the Smallpox, though. They draw for that bauble. I draw for turn. Urza Saga, let's go. A Pox upon you. Kill your Murktide, kill one of your 2 lands, take a card from your hand, and I pseudo-draw a card because the Bloodghast comes into play for free. There's a long pause on this Smallpox. I think if my opponent could counter it, they just would. What are we thinking about? Are we thinking about our life and how it's come to this? That's the feeling you want to put into your opponent when you cast Smallpox against them. Okay, my spell has resolved. I'm choosing Bloodghast to discard. They discarded a counterspell. I sack a Tomb. They sack their Islet. Land drop gets me my Bloodghast. It doesn't quite have haste yet. Gotta wait on that one. Ragavan from the opponent. That dies to Sheoldred's Edict. I would still like to draw a land, though. Spreading Algae. Not currently helpful. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. I guess I attack first. In case. I don't know why they would ever block this, but they do have that option. No blocks as expected. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature. And pass the turn. If they play a fetch land, I might have to bomb their graveyard in response to the fetch. But they just pass without any play at all, which is what we want when we're playing this deck. Unfortunately, the Saga just ran its course without doing anything. And it put Bloodghast into play, so I'm not going to complain. Skull Bomb can draw a card. Haywire Might's a creature with stats. Yeah, I guess I want Haywire Might. Want is a strong word, but I will accept Haywire Might. And I'm actually going to Spellbomb them right now. See if I can find something to do with my mana. Like play the Shadow Spear I just drew off the top. Good stuff. Yeah, I don't care if this is Spell Pierced, it's whatever. Play my land and get in there. If they had left up red, I would have saved the land for after combat, but I don't think it matters here. Unless this deck is suddenly on Gutshot. Urborg is one of the best draws in my deck. They shocked in the Steam Vents. Oh, look who's here. I'm going to attack them for 3. The shocking in Steam Vents is a concern, because that makes me think they have Counterspell, which showed up just in time, if true. I'm going to play Braids, because that's the one that is both enough that they'd probably counter it if they could, but also the worst card in my hand. Yep, that's fine. With just a handful of sorcery speed spells, it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to just play around Counterspell. It's not like I could do anything with my mana otherwise. Expressive Iteration, here we go. I guess if I just wait, at some point, they have to EI on their main phase, and then I resolve my spells. If that was a bluff, though, I get paid so hard. Interesting. I'm going to attack. Unfortunately, drew the second Urborg, rather than any other land, but I still get to... Or I can't double spell here, because my spells are all green. I'm not convinced this deck can really beat Grist. So I'm just going to put this into play rather than attacking their mana. Their life total is the resource I'm interested in pressuring at this point. Preordain, okay. Spirebluff Canal. Dragon's Rage Channeler, I can kill that. If I want to. Oh, Bloodghast has haste right now. Yeah, that's like free. Okay, sacrifice my Bloodghast to kill the Dragon's Rage Channeler, then I'll just make a land drop and light my opponent up. Kill the DRC. I'm going to try to Light from the Loam, because then I can do two things. And if this doesn't work, I'll just play the other Urborg and attack them to 1. A frustratingly efficient Spell Pierce there. It's fine. Still had it. I would like my Bloodghast back, and I would like to attack for 4 damage. Opponent's at 1. Dead to an attack. They can't fetch. Dead to a Smallpox. Expressive Iteration. I'm not sure what they could find here that would be helpful. And they agreed. Cool. A nice dismantling of Delver. Or not Delver, Murktide. That's what it's called in this format. I like Assassin's Trophy. I like Unlicensed Hearse. My 1-drops are pretty important. I don't like trying to chalice them on 1. Stone of Eric. If a creature would die, exile it. Exile target player's graveyard, draw a card. I mean, that might be fine. Witherbloom Command kills Ragavan and sometimes Dragon's Rage Channeler. I don't really like Ashiok. They just cost a lot of mana for an effect that I can already do multiple times in my Urza Saga package. Vengeful Pharaoh actually seems dope as hell against them. If this is in your graveyard and you or a Planeswalker you control takes combat damage, you can put this on top of your deck to destroy target creature. Kind of a lock with Life from the Loam, as long as your life total hangs up. I'm going to board out an Algae, a Command, a Thoughtseize, and a Braids. These are all cards that could be liabilities. Like if they have Ledger Shredder instead of Ragavan, Witherbloom Command doesn't actually kill anything. The Algae without Urborg is bad. Thoughtseize, if we get into a top deck war, it's not good because they're Hellbent too. And Braids is a legendary creature that dies to Lightning Bolt. I think that spread of things in exchange for these generically better cards is where I want to be. I like this hand. If they do resolve and connect with Ragavan on turn 1, I will be in trouble. Flooded Strand and pass. That's good news for me. Okay, and depending on what they do here, I can decide if I want to play Saga or jam Smallpox. Like if they play a Ledger Shredder here, I think I just Pox. If they do nothing, I play Saga. I'm not actually convinced that I even fetch land here, because they could have Blood Moon, and I would like a basic if that's what's going on. And now with Saga on the board, they're in the position where they can't just hold up counter magic. Okay, they're passing, and they didn't Blood Moon me. If they were to moon me, I'd rather have green, but in all other cases, I'd rather have black. All right, I'm just going to pretend that card's not in their deck. Witherbloom Command, cool. I'm going to play Takenuma as my land. That's kind of a spell later, but if I Smallpox, I can sacrifice it, and I don't want to take 1 from every land off Nurturing Peatland. Because I'm currently stable on a board where my opponent's missing land drops and I'm not. I don't want to just start blading myself out where a cheese burst of damage out of nowhere gets it done. Wow, and they just went to cleanup. I fully expected them to Lightning Bolt in the end step or Unholy Heat just so they wouldn't have to clean up. Stone of Eric, Shadow Spear. I just drew the Nile Spellbomb, which is the one I actually wanted this turn. Haywire Might gets ahead of the Blood Moon that I was just worried about, in case that is the plan. And they did discard Counterspell to hand size. Attack for 3. I'm going to leave up Haywire Might activation rather than play Nile Spellbomb. That continues to not let them counter my spells, and it stops me from getting clowned by Blood Moon. Yeah, they just didn't have a removal spell. They're discarding counter spells. They hit a land drop. Bummer. They could have like Brotherhood's End or some sweeper here. Indeed. Destroy all artifacts. All right, they're gone. However, this lets me stick Braids or Grist on an empty board. It's got to be Grist, I think, between the two. Yeah, Smallpox is a next turn problem. I can even play my Swamp. This saves me a life, but I lose the value of what if I just mill Bloodghast there. I milled Beseju. Alright, I'll end up paying the life anyway. If I was going to play the Spellbomb, yeah, I should have Grist activated first and just taken the 1, because that's where this turn was going anyway. I missed a 2-outer value mill there. Mishra's Bauble, which they clearly just drew, or they would have played it on any other turn up to this point. They can shove a Murktide right now, but I'm not going to bomb them because I'm holding Smallpox. And I have Grist in play. Okay. Witherbloom Command kills that. They named Grist. I hope they play a creature here. Okay, they're back to leaving up counterspells. I was about to say a land is a great draw here, but specifically not that land. Do I think they would counter a Witherbloom command? Probably. Target player mills 3, destroy target non-creature non-land permanent. I'm actually going to have them mill 3. Even though they are graveyard deck, I am holding Graveyard Hate in play. And my graveyard already has the things I'd want to buy back in it. Spell Snare. Yucky. Okay, attack you for 1. And then I'll play a Bloodghast and my Baron Moor. Yeah, it would have been sick to untap land, jam Braids here after baiting counter on the Witherbloom. But tap lands come at a cost in deck building. Red in the pool. Bolting Bloodghast, that's got to feel awful, unless you're going to untap and play Graveyard Hate. A basic island. Is it Blood Moon time? Or Murktide plus Counterspell time? Okay. They have made their way up to the hilltop. If I can remove Pithing Needle or draw a second removal spell, I think I'm just winning all day. Baron Moor, that kind of sucks. It is a land drop for my Bloodghast. Okay, I'm going to play Smallpox from my hand here. If it resolves, we're in great shape. If it doesn't resolve, I slam Braids. I don't expect it to resolve, just for the record. Okay, Counterspell it is, and then Braids get in. Braids can sack Bloodghast every turn. I'm going to play this, get back Bloodghast. Right, so this reads, at the beginning of your end step, you may sack an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, the player loses 2 life, and you draw a card. I could just sack the Grist here. Keep a creature on the board. My outs to the Pithing Needle are the other Boseiju, or I guess any life from the Loam does it. I am going to sack Bloodghast, actually. Because this puts them to 10, and now Bloodghast has haste, and the incentive to keep it in play doesn't matter anymore. They're drawing cards from Fiery Islet. Emergency time. Fuel up, find answers to Braids, because she is going to bury you. Unfortunately, the deck plays a lot of them. Dashing Ragavan. That's weird. I have so many blockers for this. Interesting. Are they sandbagging an Unholy Heat on me, or just trying to get cards into the graveyard for reasons I don't understand yet? I'm just going to block with my Insect token and not let Unholy Heat kill Braids. Look at this. Second main, Steam Vents, Unholy Heat, Spellbomb you. I don't get to draw a card, but I do get to keep Braids. This does make Murktide 1 point bigger, which doesn't change the clock. It does change the clock if they're holding Lightning Bolt. Though I can attack them down to 1 this turn, and they have to sacrifice Murktide or they lose to Braids. I'm going to draw for Peatland, play Bloodghast, which has haste. Land drop the other Bloodghast, also has haste. You're at 1. You can't lose 2 life to Braids or you die. This is a lot of fun. I love Bloodghast. Bloodghast is easily my favorite card. Oh, I can just straight up kill them, right? With Grist. Each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. Oh, is this a creature if I sack it? I don't know. If I can, just straight up kill them. All right, yeah, cool. It's a Planeswalker at the time that I sack it. Interesting. Yeah, just getting the 2 damage. Hasty Bloodghast. Unreal. Let's keep rolling. The official BoshNRoll Island Ponder Keep shirt is available exclusively through Coalesce Apparel. This Magic player-owned business is a staple of our community. They keep this channel on the air, and it's my pleasure to partner with them for this product. Coalesce is the best Magic apparel on the market. They have awesome new designs coming out all the time. Use code BoshNRoll to get 10% off your order, only at coalesceapparel.shop. I'm on the play versus an opponent whose username is Amulet Go. I think I've played against them before and made the joke before. I wonder if they're lying, and they were not lying. I do like both Thoughtseize and Boseiju versus this deck. I don't like my land coming in tapped, but we take what we can get. Spreading Algae and Vengeful Pharaoh is kind of a double mulligan already. Expedition map. This looks more like Tron than Amulet, though I guess it could be either one. Dryad One Ring. Can I ever beat the One Ring in my life? Probably not. Oh, sick. Dryad makes every land into a swamp. I'm coming for you. Oh, they're holding Boseiju, though. That just kills my Spreading Algae. Daddy needs a black source. Cavern. On Giant. Investing in the distant future. Come on, Black Source. Yeah, cool. I'm gonna fetch in this Liliana of the Veil and start trying to make it weird on them. Smallpox doesn't meaningfully impact them right now. I get the discard the Vengeful Pharaoh basically for free because that's not a real card. They dump the Boseiju, nice. We're gonna get them with Spreading Algae on their own stupid Dryad. That's almost certainly not true, by the way. I probably have to Smallpox them before they get to untap, see what they're gonna map for. And the way the rules on auras work is if the thing is ever not what it's allowed to enchant, then it just falls off. This is Enchant Swamp. So I can't put Spreading Algae on a land, then kill the Dryad, and then just the algae gets them later. That's just not how the rules work. It would fall off as soon as it's not a swamp. Saga. Spelunking. Bummer. Just playing around my removal. Valakut. Okay. Comes in untapped. If they wanted to, which clearly they do. Nice. That Bloodghast is a free discard. I was worried about that. Each player discards a card. I'm going to dump the Bloodghast. I wonder if I'm supposed to hold up Boseiju for a turn cycle, or just Smallpox here, discard my Spreading Algae, pass without a land drop. Okay, they just dumped Urza's Saga. I could Boseiju the Saga they have, then let them think that Dryad will be helpful. If I Boseiju now, they get to activate Map still on my turn, using basically free mana. I think I want to give this a turn to breathe. Use the Boseiju on the Saga. Let's try to clear that out. They get a forest. I did this before the draw step because I didn't want them to know what they were going to draw and maybe put something together better with Expedition Map. If their hand is 2 lands, or actually if it's even 1 land, they can play Dryad, make their land drop. Or no, they only get 1 Lightning Bolt here, even if they have 2 lands. Amulet is so crazy. There's just so much shit you got to figure out all the time. They thought for a while, then just passed the turn, didn't even map for anything, just skipped their land drop, no land, no play, nothing. I think I want to Smallpox, then play Swamp, and then plus Liliana. Alright, Smallpox, I'm just going to start squeezing their resources. I'm going to get rid of the Spreading Algae, it's not going to work this game. It didn't come together. Discard Spreading Algae. Sacrifice Baron more, that one's better off in my graveyard. They discarded the Dryad, that's interesting. Plus my Swamp, get back Bloodghast. Plus Liliana, I have nothing in there. They discarded Summoner's Pact, okay. Liliana's at ultimate level. If at any point I want to separate their permanents, I can. But I think plussing her is better for now. Simic Growth Chamber does come in untapped. They do only have 1 land drop per turn currently. Yeah! Tapping out. Ashiok's great here. Assassin's Trophy is solid. Necromentia. Nature's Claim has lots of text in the matchup. Break the Ice destroys Urza's Saga. Slayer's Stronghold. Sunhome. Basically not the lands that they put into play on purpose other than Urza's Saga. I think Skullbomb's too slow. Spellbomb doesn't matter. Shadow Spear doesn't matter. The Vengeful Pharaoh, I think if they hit me, it's too late. I'm going to cut Pharaoh. I do like Edict. I love Bloodghast. I think Fatal Push is just getting side-graded into Nature's Claims and Assassin's Trophies. Because Fatal Push only kills Dryad and only under Morbid conditions, or Revolt conditions. And Claim and Trophy just... Claim kills the Dryad also, but also Saga, Amulet, etc. Trophy can actually kill a Titan. Pithing Needle, I could name Slayer Stronghold or whatever. There's plenty of activated abilities in their deck. It's just whether I think those are better than the cards that I'm already playing. Or the cards I boarded in. And I think the answer is no to both. I'm going for it. Keeping on the strength of Haywire Might. Saga. And Amulet. Bummer. We could just get turn 2'd here. Okay, Swamp and Haywire Might. I think mana efficiency is more important than being surprising. And if they turn to me, whatever, it was meant to be. I couldn't stop that anyway. Besaging my Haywire Might. Okay. That's fair game. I'll take a ramp spell all day. Liliana of the Veil is not where I want to be. I'm going to fetch and then play Witherbloom Command. Cast, and I'm going to mill target them They do just have kind of a weird number of important one-ofs that I might spike here. I'm just trying to high roll. I just milled an Azusa. Like, I don't even know if that's important, but I'm glad they don't have it. The Saga can still be an amulet, but at least they don't have 2 amulets. I feel like I'm way behind, though. Slayer Stronghold as your land for turn, never where you want to be. Wow, that was actually really shitty, and I'm excited about it. Let the squeeze begin, Big Lily. Make it happen. I used to play Obstinate Baloth. That's like a thing, or at least it was. Last time I played Pox in Modern, I have not seen that in a very long time, and hope it's not happening to me right now. They dumped an Endurance, which is great, because I did dump in a Bloodghast, which is coming right back. Maybe that was supposed to be Saga, actually. Whoops. Alright, to be determined. They didn't do anything last turn with a mana floating. Yeah, these are the same possible 3-drops now. Thoughtseize. Let's have a look. I'll take one of these Primeval Titans. And can I get a second discard this turn? No, but they are mana short. Each player discard a card. Or there'll be 2 mana shorts. Opponent asked in the chat, what is this deck called? It seems very cool, smiley face. It's called Pox. And yeah, they have to, if they don't discard the Primetime, then they have to discard 2 mana that would move towards casting Primetime. Yeah, this is a mess for them. It's great for me. And I'm going to play my Saga. Back for 2. And I'm going to play Liliana. Or Braids, whoever this is. Liliana's already in play. Braids. Who will drain them for 2 because they don't have any creatures. And then Life from the Loam guarantees a land drop next turn. Yeah, they'd have to string some hotness together to get ahead here. They're kind of in a real squeeze. Alright, Spelunking is the type of thing that could get their hand empty, at least where Liliana is less effective. Growth Chamber does have to bounce a land. They still have their land drop. If they have a 3 they can play. Alright, cool. Looks like we're getting away with it. Draw for turn. Is Verdant Catacombs. I think I start by cycling. I can do everything I want to do here for the most part. Pick back up all these lands. Shock in Overgrown Tomb. Who gets back Bloodghast. Plus Liliana. Discard Verdant Catacombs. Attack for 3. They discarded Valakut, which is what they picked up before. And I'm going to sack the Bloodghast again. Drain them for another 2. And I picked up a Boseiju. Boseiju plus Loam when they're in top deck mode already. Should be pretty solid here. If their hand is 2 mana land plus Primetime, they can present some action. But otherwise, they're in trouble. And they packed it up. That is a beautiful Pox squeeze on a deck designed to have a specific combination of resources. Got away with that. Whoa, I love that. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play in round 3, I have lands and a path up to Liliana. I guess the question is, do I cycle this Baron more? Or do I bank the land that I already have? If I cycle this, it could be anything, even a land. I think I just play Baron more tapped and call that what it is. I can get it in the graveyard later with the Smallpox if I need to. Opponent mulled to 6. It's like I already Thoughtseize them once. Busted. Every resource matters against Pox. They don't even know. Looming Marsh. Please play a Mana Dork. Oh my goodness. Pox is so deeply and heinously unreasonable against people who have creatures as part of their mana base. That Life from the Loam is really nice. I think I fetch shock the Overgrown Tomb here, then sack Baron more to my Pox and just ride the lightning. Take my 1,000 for 1 here. I'm going to discard... I can't discard Takenuma because I have to cast Life from the Loam somehow. I'm going to discard Haywire Might. It's not what I want to do, but I don't have a 3rd land in my hand. Imagine mulling to 6 and just getting 3 for 1 on turn 1, including deleting all your permanents. They discarded Beseiju, so lands are not what they're worried about. There's a land. Okay. Would have gotten away with discarding Takenuma last turn. All good. I'll pick up my lands, get set up for Liliana. When they play Wall of Roots next turn, I'll just eat it. If they pitch cast an Endurance here to stop my Loam, that's a deal. They seem to pause on it, which is why I said that. Blooming Marsh and pass. Okay. Not going to dredge Loam. I am going to play Liliana and plus her. Got this handful of lands. I got Life from Loam in the graveyard. Liliana parity is already completely in my favor. Discard Barrenmore. They discarded a Takenuma. Okay. You kind of want to see them dumping spells. All right, Liliana can go to 1 here. Witherbloom Command and Edict can stabilize against this stuff next turn. Wall of Roots. Okay. They have danced around a little bit. Young Wolf. Okay. They've suddenly found quite the board state for themselves. Congratulations. Okay, Liliana goes to 1, and they're Hellbent. Now I have to decide how I want to do this. Oh, if I Witherbloom first, yeah, I'll just have extra cards. I don't need the Loam. Okay, the Thoughtseize can be discarded to Liliana. Okay, Witherbloom Command, -3/-1 on the Bowmaster, and target player mills 3, then I get a land back. Do I want to mill them? Do they do stuff out of their graveyard? I mean, I know they're a graveyard combo deck, but do they specifically... I guess hitting myself for a Bloodghast or something is way better. Okay, yep. Mill me, kill Bowmaster. I did hit an Urborg, which color fixes them a little bit, but also turns on my spreading Algae if I draw one someday. I think I want the fetch land. I still have basics I can get here. Okay, plus Liliana, I'm going to discard the Thoughtseize, and I can Edict them for a token and kill the Orc army. I don't really love my position here. All of a sudden, they did a really good job suddenly dumping out enough things to play around Edicts. After that turn 1, ranching. They're attacking Liliana with their 2 creatures, as I expected they might. I'm going to Edict a token creature and hope they didn't draw Yawgmoth right now. Grist. That might be worse. Shit. I'm so far behind. I was doing so good. Okay, I gotta dredge Loam now. Looking for some graveyard action, looking for a Urza Saga, found nothing of the sort. Takenuma can get back a Liliana, who does not help here. That's the problem I'm in. Loam can target 3 lands. Oh, I can cycle Barrenmore and dredge Loam again. That sounds cool, actually. Dredge Loam again. Found a Bloodghast, that's good. I really don't want to play Urborg onto this board. Verdant Catacombs, yes. Fetch. Get the other basic forest. Life from the Loam, 2 targets. Or no, plus Liliana first. Then I can full value this thing. I'm still really far behind and about to lose my Liliana, but at least I did a bunch of stuff that turn. Made an insect, they milled a Beseiju, and they played a forest. Liliana meets a sad demise. And I will dredge Loam. Looking for a Saga. I found one. Nice. Okay, cycle Barrenmore for a card. Don't dredge Loam. Spreading Algae, you don't say. That might be good someday. Saga, Beseiju, Barrenmore are my targets. Play the Saga and pass. Bloodghast doesn't have any good attacks into the 0/4. Now I'm going to start taking draws. Please don't draw a good card here. Oh no, they have Yawgmoth mana in the pool. Yikes. Would it be reasonable to request that my Hellbent opponents don't draw Grist into Yawgmoth? Am I out of line for asking that? Okay, my Bloodghast is dead. That does mean Young Wolf is not going to attack this turn. They could have attacked for 1 first and done the second main. They have plenty of resources if they just find the nonsense to go nuts with. And they sacked an insect to minus the wolf. Sack the wolf, target nothing. They can minus the wolf again, that's 1. Sack the wolf, that's 2. Make another insect, that's 3. Sack the wolf, that's 4. They can draw at least 4 more cards this turn without really losing anything. Yep. Sack the insect, sack the wolf. They still have Grist activation. Grist can -5 That's just for 2. That's not what they're going to be doing. Okay, they have made another insect. That's at least 2 more draws. The next draw does give my Bloodghast haste, though I don't think we're going to be cheesing over the finish line here. I believe they have cleared my squeeze. That the way they played the early game was great. After they got blown out on turn 1, then they just didn't give me anything to kill, and then played 3 things all at once. And that messed up my whole edict math. They got their hand empty, so Liliana was largely ineffective for half the game. Good plays. Also drawing Grist and Yawgmoth from a Hellbent position is pretty good. They are down to 5. Grist has been activated. They can Court of Calling for 1, which means they can draw their deck, but they can't go infinite. Or they can draw 4 more cards. Wall of Roots, they could still Court of Calling for 1 here. There's no attacks to be had. I guess I cycle Baron more and try to draw a card. And I do need actual spells. Her board sucks. Come on, removal spell. Draw Skullbomb. I think that gets a creature back from my graveyard. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Activate as a sorcery. Oh, that's a 4-mana regrowth. That's kind of a tough one. And they don't have... Oh wait, I think if I sack Saga, they can sack a land. Sack an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. Each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. Yeah, okay, so even if I sack Saga, I don't actually get anywhere with that. I could Takenuma Liliana minus, and then they lose one of these things. I don't know if they care. I think that is the best play that I have, though. Yeah, Liliana is better than Braids. Haywire Might doesn't do any... Haywire Might can block, but no. What's his face? Yogg just eats that. And unfortunately, I have to give them the Urborg at this point. I imagine they'll lose the Wall of Roots here. Or they'll Court in response for a Young Wolf and sack that. Yeah, that's fair. Court for 1. And they sack that, it comes back as a 2/2, and I attack into it. Okay, they're at 3 if they don't do anything. They're at 3. Okay, F6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Damage on board. 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh yeah, there we go. They did it. Okay. Yeah, really cool early sequence. They figured out what I was up to very quickly, and then flipped the script on it, and perfectly danced around my plan. Well played. I actually treat this matchup a lot like I would treat Amulet Titan. Fatal Push is better. Thoughtseize is worse. They have a lot of creatures for Edict, but if you can catch them in a squeeze early, it's fine. I think Draw Skullbomb and Haywire Might don't really matter. Witherbloom Command is fine. It does kill a lot of their creatures, their mana dorks. Is that even true? It kills like Birds of Paradise and Ignoble Hierarch kind of mana dorks. It does not kill Delighted Halfling or Wall of Roots. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. They are a black deck. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a ton of swamps. I wish Spreading Algae was more reliable. I'm going to leave one in, but I'm going to cut one as well. It might just be another Witherbloom Command. Oh, they have Bowmasters. Yeah, it kills that. I like Grist. I'm going to shave a Thoughtseize. It's just a really bad top deck later. I will keep this hand Swamp Needle Yawgmoth or Swamp Needle Grist, and then just try to constrict their mana so they can't have a Yawgmoth. I have Grist in my deck too, though. Tricky stuff. I think I'm going to Needle Grist, even though it is a card in my deck, because it just hard counters my deck so well. Just all my removal doesn't work, and they have Inevitability, and they get a Fireball. I don't like any of those things happening. Thoughtseize, I'm going to lose my Smallpox here for sure. Then I will simply put Bloodghast into play and hope that there is still a game to be played. I was really counting on that Smallpox. So Verdant Catacombs that they don't need to crack because I gave them Urborg. Life from the Loam. That's kind of slow and crappy. I'll fetch for a forest and play Loam. Not exactly high-octane magic here. Something's happening in response. Nope, they changed their mind. Okay. Orcish Bowmaster. Alright, that kills Bloodghast. I don't really have a lot of alternate draws in the deck. I have like the Barren Moors and the Nurturing Peatlands, but I can replace additional draws with dredges. I gotta try to draw cards here, or draw spells. Ugh. It's Takenuma. It's a tough sell. Oh no, do they have Graveyard Hate too? They're just giving me nothing, taking everything from me. Yikes. Yeah, I'm just gonna get obliterated here. The worst games in Legacy Dredge or Legacy Pox are the ones where you don't jump out ahead. Like, you don't Mox Diamond, you don't Dark Ritual, and then you just have to play Fair Magic versus decks that are better at doing that than you are. And this is kind of that, but way worse. Because modern decks are even better at playing against that than Legacy decks are. I literally don't know how I win from here. I don't play a Damnation or any other sweeper. I think I'm just going to YOLO Takenuma, try to just have an action spell, mill 3, hope it hits. Nope, missed completely. 4 mana, mill yourself for 3, do nothing. I'm not winning this game. The game 1, I had a lot of hope when we were able to Smallpox a bunch of permanents off their mulligan, and then they knew what we were up to, and if they just play multiple go-wide creatures, especially at instant speed, forget about it. On to the next round. If you're looking to run a CEDH or 1v1 tournament, Eminence Gaming has your back with Command Tower. With Command Tower's intuitive tournament manager dashboard, you can handle decklist submission and player management with just a few clicks. Players just need to scan the event's QR code for access to the full tournament bracket, including seamless pairings and real-time standing updates. Take the guesswork out of tournament organizing. Try Command Tower for your next event. I'm on the draw for round 4. I have Smallpox and Loam. That's a package. I'm in. A Wooded Foothills. What does Wooded Foothills do in this format? Ren and 6 decks? Suspended Crashing Footfalls. Oh, okay. That's a thing that happens. No, I can't help but feel like Smallpox is not very good against this deck. Just weird vibes I'm getting. They have a high mana count with Lorien Revealeds to go find more. They only need 3 mana to play the game, and then I gotta answer a bunch of stuff all at once. I'm gonna Fetch Shock and cycle Baron more. That 2 extra damage might matter here when we try to stabilize against these someday Rhinos. Raids, okay. Thoughtseize. I could Saga Thoughtseize, or I could Smallpox right now. I think I'm gonna Thoughtseize. Their deck's so redundant, this might just be a giant spew, that doesn't matter. Cycling Lorien in response. Mystical Dispute, Fire, Ice. I'm gonna take the Dispute. Oh, 2 subtleties. I didn't even see those, my brain just deleted them. Yeah, there's 2 subtleties. Those are really good against me. I think Mystical Dispute is the take, though. They might just ice my Overgrown Tomb at the start of next turn, which would be a really good play. Unfortunately, this hand is just good against what I'm doing, no matter what. I do have perfect info, because that was not in the hand when I seized them. Go for Saga, go for Saga. Oh, nice. They went for Saga instead of Overgrown Tomb. That at least lets me do something with my mana. I think I have to save the Smallpox for later. If I play Takenuma and Loam here, I will pass the turn with 7 cards in hand. Not a great use of Urza Saga, or really any resource. And now they can hardcast Subtleties. Weirdly enough, I kind of wish they had just slammed a turn 3 Rhino Can. This control game where they have the Rhinos just pending in exile is so much scarier. Not going to Dredge Loam, I need spells, got plenty of lands. I know they can Subtlety any creature I play, so I'm just going to try to get constructs up big enough to tangle with the Rhinos. Oh no, they drew Violent Outburst right now? Alright. I already couldn't beat the Rhinos that were on their way in, and then the 1 unknown card was a surprise bonus can. A Chalice of the Voids come in. I think I want Necromentia. It seems worth stripping the Cascade spell out of their deck. Some builds use Ashiok, or some builds use their graveyard, some don't. Needle doesn't matter. Vengeful Pharaoh is actually reasonable against the deck. Witherbloom Command doesn't do anything. They might try to Blood Moon me, but I have Haywire Might and Basics and Besageuse for that. Raids is kind of cool. Bloodghast still remains my favorite card in the deck. I could bring in more Assassin's Trophies. I'm pretty worried about that, though. It might be a Braids. Or, no, it's Nile Spellbomb. Do I want the Draw Skullbomb still in here? Could go +1 Trophy. Cut the Draw Skullbomb. Haywire Might and Shadow Spear are both fine. I'm going to leave the Spreading Algaes in. Maybe I could get them in a squeeze. This is a weird hand. I am going to keep it, though. I need any land, but especially if it's a green source. This hand just straight up casts Bloodghast, can Smallpox another one to the graveyard. Yeah, Pox is very much about squeezing the normal boundaries of the game. And some of these modern decks that we're playing against are very much about breaking the normal boundaries of the game. Like decks that can poop out 3 mana dorks in a turn, and then draw 10 cards off of those from one top deck. Like that sort of stuff. If they get over your squeeze, you're done. This deck is trying to resolve one spell in a game and protect it. That's kind of hard to combat. Saga, Bloodghast. And I could just Pox right now. I think Liliana is better than Pox, though, if I have the choice between the two. Here's Steam Vents. They did zap it in. Am I going to get iced right now? Or fired? What are we doing? Looks like some ice. Targeting Urza's Saga. Okay. Sheoldred's Edict. Not really what I wanted in life. Attack with Bloodghast. Now I have to squeeze them down to 2 lands because I can't beat their 3rd land. They might just force a negation this and win anyway. Force pitching Murktide. Okay. Yep, they had it. That is a force that won't hit Liliana, though. If I have to work through... Oh, they were missing a land drop. Yeah, you better. Okay, come on, green source out of the deck. Shadow Spear. Drew one of my possible payouts. Do I want to try to cast Liliana into this board? Do I think a construct will even help? I only have 1 tutor target left in the deck right now. Yeah, I might not get to play any more any more spells other than this Liliana this game. So I'm going to grab my Haywire Might and then cast Liliana with my floating mana. They can't Mystical Dispute this. They would have to force it or subtlety it. She's in there. Plus Lily. I lose a Bloodghast. They lose a Footfalls. Attack with Bloodghast. Okay. This is really going to come down to, can I find a green source or not? Because this Saga's going to die next turn without making a construct. I can't even tutor anything. I'm just out of juice. Wow, dead out of Bloodghast. They must have endurance or something to combat that, because that's a bad deal. Okay, green land, green land, green land. Come on, green source off the top, fetch land forest. No, a legendary land. I hate this so much. Ugh. Okay, I'm out of tutor targets. I wonder if this deck wants a Springleaf Drum. Not being able to tutor for Mox Diamond in the modern build, because obviously that's not a legal card. It's just such a shit show. Urborg. Guess I play the other one, try to get these Bloodghast back. Bloodghast. Bloodghast. Equip my Haywire Might. Oh, I hate this. This sucks so bad. Okay, I'll at least attack. And then if they jump Rhinos into block, I get to Edict one of them. All right, plus Lily, I lose Sheoldred's Edict here. Oh, Tidebinder. Okay, so that's a Stifle. That actually rules for me. I didn't want to discard a card. Okay, deal. Liliana is just blank cardboard until this Tidebinder goes away. No attack. You love it. Draw. Deck. Deck has forsaken me completely at this point. I'm going to attack with all my creatures and just die to a can of Rhinos. Most of these can't block anyway. Oh. If they make this trade, we are in blocks. What spell do you have? What's going on here? Flame of Anor. Okay, that makes sense. Sure. All right, then my creature just dies and they get to keep their Tidebinder. All right, everything, story checks out. The Ghast do have haste now. They just went under 10 life, which could matter. I'm at 24. Their deck is full of big creatures. Anything could happen. They just drew 2 cards. Suspended a Footfalls, the old-fashioned way. They're still afraid to attack. I like that. Oh my goodness. Another Smallpox. And they don't have green for the spell right now. Another Tidebinder. Okay. Oh, blocking duty 3-2. Will absorb some damage temporarily. Oh, my deck is failing me. I mean, their deck's kind of failing them too, but this game would have been so over with any green source. It's turn 7. I've drawn 7 cards this game. Give me a break. They're starting to attack. I think they've realized that at some point they're going to have to trade off this Tidebinder and Liliana will wake back up. Oh, that's 3 of their 4 Footfalls just accounted for. Green source, basic forest. Green source, basic forest. Hey, green source, basic forest. Wow, let's go. Bang. Haste creature. Get him in there. They can just block with subtleties now. Black, black, black in the pool. Are they going to dismember? Wow, that's... I mean,
They're having a bad time over there. I have spent this game color screwed, but I'm about to break out of it, and they don't have much left going on. Pretty good spot, actually. Despite all odds, we find ourselves in a reasonable spot with them in some real trouble. We're going to finish off my Lily. Nope, they realize that they're dead on board if they do that. Wow! I feel like I got pretty lucky there, even though I was getting unlucky throughout. They just never did anything their deck's supposed to do. We did see a Murktide Regent, but knew that was possible. I'm not worried about Murktide Regent to the point where I need Graveyard Hate in. I have actual removal cards for those. The Tishana's Tidebinders, everything I have that counterplays versus those is already in my deck. Do I want the other Assassin's Trophy? I feel like I had the trophy in, and then I cut it. Or it didn't go in. Maybe I was only doing one, but the other one's in now. As much as it hurts to say it, and this was true, I did Legacy Algae Pox a couple weeks ago. Spreading Algae is just such a clunker, and it's fun when it pops. Well, here we are. I have the combo, but it's pretty mid, actually. Misty Rainforest. Let's see if I can get them in the squeeze here. I'm going to get Basic Forest and play Shadow Spear. They can be a Blood Moon deck, and I'm about to Urborg this into a Overgrown Tomb anyway. Ketria Triumph, cool. I am happy to destroy that. Wow, I get to Thoughtseize you and then Spreading Seize your shit? Bang. Trips Violent Outburst, Dismember, okay. That's a lot of outbursts, but they don't have land number 3. And if they ever do, they're going to need land number 4 to follow it up. I think Spreading Algae heard me talking about it and was like, nah, bro. Just watch. And if they slam a can of Rhinos right now, it's still going to be good. Oh, they missed out. Come on, land. Let's get them. Let's get them with a land. Not a land. Another Thoughtseize, though. Shardless Agent. I actually want that because the additional 2/2 body actually matters a lot on the board on top of the Rhinos. Would have loved to shove Grist onto the board here, or even better, Necromentia the Wincons out of their deck. Okay, they have land number 3. They can make a Rhino can. The redundant Urborg. A turn too late. I would have shoved the Necromentia last turn, you better believe it. Okay, so they are going to delete their land to Violent Outburst. Here comes this. I'll make them sack a creature token. Creature token. So make sure I click the correct thing. It would be easy to make that mistake. They have one Rhino that I can answer with my hand. They have a Violent Outburst that if they draw a land right now, they can send. But if they don't, I can spread their other land. Okay, they passed. Come on, normal-ass land. No chance of a normal-ass land. Okay. I think I have to hurl my Urborg into the void here. To Edict. Sacrifice a creature token, please. Spreading Algae, the Stomping Ground. Okay. We're back to pseudo-stability. They do have one more Cascade spell in their hand. They need to draw land to send it, which they did. And I think that's going to be game over. They just had too many of this stupid thing. Thoughtseize them twice, worked my way through one, but they had 4. I could answer 3 of them. Once again, running out of mana actually is what killed me. Thoughtseize now doesn't help because they just send over the top. Disappointing. Yeah, we're going to lose this game, like, next turn. Maybe there's not enough lands in this deck, but we also lost last round by just having all lands and no action. That's a problem with Pox in all formats, even Legacy where you get Mox Diamond and stuff to really make it sing. Yep, the Footfalls, I go to 3. There is no combination of cards that answer. I didn't bring in a sweeper, right? I don't think so. I don't believe I have a sweeper. I'll take a draw step in case I forgot about something I boarded in, but I'm pretty sure I just had chalices and stuff that can stop this from happening in the first place, but nothing once it's around. Yep. Dead. Came down to missing a land drop. If we Necromentia them and then get Spreading Algae going, I don't know how we can lose, but obviously didn't work out that way. On to, I believe, the final round. Yep, final round coming. You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. You can also find Jeremy co-hosting episodes 106 and 109 of the Tech Talk series with Keith Shaw on the Tech Talk YouTube channel. Head over to Tech Talk and don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube channel for every episode of Dev Better. I'm on the play in the final round. I have multiple Bloodghast and Braids. I'll keep it. This is not exactly the blazing disruptive hand I'd hope for, but it does do stuff. It's got engines, it's got interaction. Temple Garden. Delighted Halfling. Okay. I will almost certainly be edicting that. Do I want to play Besiege You? What does that do over anything else? I think I just want to hold on to Besiege You. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. I wish this was Smallpox, but we'll take this. We haven't played against a Wrenn and 6 deck yet, and wow, is that card bad news for us. They're fetching with 2 mana. Good chance we see the unspeakable arrive here. Yep, there it is. It makes it really hard to mana screw them and really hard to squeeze their hand when they just get a free land every turn. Thoughtseize. I will have a look, please. Risen Reef. Yikes. Leyline Binding, Solitude. Well, I hate everything about this. I guess I have to take the Leyline Binding and hope that their pitch interaction costs them. The Risen Reef is a nightmare, though. Alright, here is Bloodghast. I can at least pressure Wrenn and 6 with a real permanent. There's that Heath we saw. Here's Risen Reef. Please don't put a white card in their hand. Okay, the Wrenn did ping the Bloodghast. That's cool. Anything that results in me getting something for free is usually exciting. Bloodghast comes back, Braids, and I will sack the Bloodghast at the end of turn. If I get to the end of turn and they don't Solitude my Braids first. We got there. I imagine they'll take the damage here because Risen Reef is a banger. Though if they want to let Risen Reef die, I'm okay with that too. And I drew a redundant copy of Urborg. Another deck building problem that comes with playing Spreading Algae. You don't have to have 3 Urborgs in your deck if you're not playing Spreading Algae, and if Spreading Algae is just like some card, your deck's probably better anyway. There's the Endotha Triumph they've been holding on for a while. Bloodghast almost have haste here. Come on, spell. Shelter's Edict, okay. That can clear the Wrenn and 6. I'm going to attack my opponent's life points directly. If they don't block here, they're under 10. Okay, or they could draw another one of those. That's cool too. Yeah, that's gone. Now am I more worried about Risen Reef or Wrenn and 6? I think I have more creature removal. I'll make them sack the Planeswalker. Then which legendary land do I want to throw in the graveyard here? Yes, Urborg. Get back one of these Bloodghast, play the other one. I know they're holding Solitude over there, and mana number 5 to start exiling my friends. No attack with Risen Reef, coward. More Braids, cool. I'm going to attack with my Bloodghast. I imagine we'll see one of them exiled by Solitude. I'd be pretty happy with a trade in combat with the other one. Whatever. There it is. Risen Reef gets to trigger. It did not. Find a land, which means it drew a spell, or it means they have Omnath and they'd rather have the land in their hand. Bad news no matter what. Braid sacking Bloodghast. It's a shame because I am firing the engine that I want to be doing. Like, I've done exactly what this deck is supposed to do. My opponent just does not care because their engines are so much better than mine. The power of Legacy Dredge, or I keep saying Dredge instead of Pox. Legacy Pox is that you are brutal on the mana and then you start squeezing the cards with Liliana, and we're just not that brutal on the mana in Modern. Those effects don't exist in this format. Probably for the better overall, but to the detriment of honest Loam Pox players. We could have some Ghost Quarters in the deck, but the first 2 or 3 aren't gonna actually kill a land. Yeah, there's Omnath. Alright, send me home. Risen Reef did hit a land, which is so much worse. They were already gonna make a land drop and destroy me here. And I know they're holding a fetch land because they picked it up with Wrenn 100 years ago. Alright, we're good. We don't need to keep playing. Yikes, what do I do against this? Turok gets through their Solitudes and stuff. Ashiok affects their graveyard and makes it harder to fetch and get their mana going. Assassin's Trophy can bust out a Leyline Binding or kill Omnath or whatever. Once again, draw Skull Bomb, Spreading Algae. Spreading Algae is just, I gotta kick it out here. I do my best to make it work for the content. Witherloom Command destroys Ren and 6. I guess I can't cut that. I try to make it work for the content, but we are at the end of the league fighting for the positive record, and that card is just largely blank. My opponent's deck does have some natural swamps in it, though. I still don't think that's good enough reason to actually play this. Okay. Going after it. One last set of games, I hope. I was about to say one last game, but I would like to win this and get a game 3. Okay, I'm going to cycle Baron more, draw a card, players a Saga, see if a Saga game plan works better here. Opponent fetching on turn 1, and shocking. Oh my goodness. They have 1-drops in their deck? Oh right, we did see this one. Cycle Baron more. Found a Liliana. I do like that, kinda. Witherbloom Command. That's almost good. But X2 mana dorks are very different than X1 mana dorks. I think I actually just play my Life from the Loam here, and not my Saga, because I need these Planeswalkers to catch up and stabilize before I can even worry about Saga doing anything. Because Saga's not going to outrace this accelerated elemental game plan. Witherbloom Command beats Risen Reef as well. Actually, a lot of targets for that one in this matchup, weirdly. There is the Risen Reef. Please don't hit a land. They didn't hit a land. You're saying there's a chance. Bloodghast. Okay, I can Grist plus here. I think I want a Witherbloom Command and take out the Risen Reef and target myself with the mill. I'm going to do all this before I play my land for turn in case I hit a Bloodghast. Get back. There's a Saga. And alright, I'll just play that one. Like I just found that. Wow, that was lucky. I'm glad I found an Urza Saga. Wink, wink. This might not matter. They just ram Omnath this turn. This Delighted Halfling causing mayhem. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, I can try to dredge Loam, and if I hit a Bloodghast, I can actually kill Omnath this turn with Grist. If I don't mill exactly Bloodghast, I'm going to wish that I had not milled. I am not going to mill. So at least one card that wasn't Bloodghast. I could go Grist plus here. Then I just lose Grist to a Hardcast Solitude because it eats the bug and then Omnath rampages. Oh, this is bad. If I play my Urborg, it gives them 1 mana Leyline Binding, which I don't think is the make or break in this situation. But I also don't think is good. I'm going to cycle Baron more and see if I can find an answer to Omnath. Smallpox, that's almost good. Would have been better last turn. Though, if I Smallpox, it will take 2 mana away from them. And it'll put Bloodghast in the graveyard where Grist can show up and cause trouble next turn. And if they just play a fetch land, Omnath tears me to shreds. I'm doing my best here. They discarded Ren and 6. I'm actually going to sack the Saga. I'm just not using that and it's dead next turn anyway. Okay. Just show me the fetch land. Do 7 mana worth of stuff. Off your 2 lands. And we could get out of here. Yeah, Ren and 6. Perfect. Ren and 6 picks up the fetch land. They gain life. They get 5 mana to do stuff. If they just put a creature into play, this Liliana can't kill Omnath next turn. Tapped fetch land. Or tapped land. So 4 mana, not 5. Delighted Halfling. And cycle in Doth of Triumph. All things considered, that wasn't that bad. I can kill Omnath unless they have Solitude and a white card in their hand. If they can kill my Bloodghast in response to activating Grist, I'm in trouble. Still don't think it's time to dredge Loam. There's a Saga. Get back Bloodghast. Green-black colorless. Minus. Sacrifice Bloodghast. Kill Omnath. Grist will die to combat next turn. Unless they need Halfling for mana, which I don't know why that would be the case. Because they have Ren and 6 and lands in their graveyard. Oh, they just had new Omnath. They didn't even care. They might have still had Solitude in their hand, and they said, that's fine. You can have it. Okay, I'm going to concede. We are not winning this game, and I can save everyone some time on their life. Okay, so this deck, I just don't like spreading Algae. It's fun. It's fun when it pops off. You get to feel very smart and mean when this works. However, it so rarely works. And Modern, especially in Modern, it's a little, I think it's actually a little better in Legacy because the format's not specifically designed to answer random permanents. And Legacy is built on smaller resources, and the spreading algae is on top of wastelands and all that stuff. Modern decks just have prismatic ending in them. They have Boseiju, they have Leyline Binding, or they can win the game on the first spell they cast, like the Rhino matchup. At some point, they'll have enough lands in play that they just leave the algae land untapped over on the side, and they play with their other lands. If you're not actively squeezing all their lands, then algae gets a lot worse. And if you Smallpox while they have an algae land, then they just sack that land. I think that this could just be 2 other cards that are helpful in some way towards the game plan. I would really like a Ghost Quarter or 2 in the deck. I don't know what exploration effects there are in Modern. I'd have to do a Scryfall dive that I'm not going to do right now. But if we could play 2 lands in a turn, maybe we could keep up with the Modern format. Not playing Spreading Algae means we don't need 3 Urborgs. How many times did the Urborgs just legend themselves into the graveyard when I needed a 3rd land in this league? It was multiple times in just 5 matches. That's a tough pill to swallow. Maybe Ashiok could be main. Modern is heavily built around fetch lands and Luring Revealed at a structural level. I just kind of want more squeezy permanents in play that impact the board in some meaningful way over Spreading Algae, which is hoping that it goes with your other card in your deck at a time where it is advantageous for those things to both show up. Because Urborg's bad if you don't have Spreading Algae. Algae's textless if you don't have Urborg. And neither one takes pressure off the board that's already there. The rest of the deck is a lot of fun. I love Life from the Loam. I love Smallpox. The Planeswalkers Braids was really cool throughout. The various tech lands in the Loam package, doing stuff with Bloodghast. I love all of that. I am not harshing on this deck. I am pretty harsh on the card Spreading Algae at this phase in my understanding of Pox across formats. I don't think this is worth the juice. Or this juice is not worth the squeeze. Don't juice it either. That's weird. That's where I'm going to leave this, though. I think you want just a little more action permanence and a little less situational stuff. You don't have a lot of card selection in here. Your card advantage mostly comes from Life from the Loam, so those are just lands. You can't afford to have dead draws like Spreading Algae when a lot of the time the game comes down to, can they break out of my initial squeeze or not? Just squeeze them more. That's my advice for this one. Everyone, thanks for watching. I always do enjoy playing Loam Pox, Algae Pox, even if it's not entirely successful. Thanks for being here. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you next time.